Hi guys, so today I have Calvin's 4-month update and a little bit about my 4 months postpartum update, and I'm filming in a little different angle because I didn't want to switch out my contacts. I didn't want to take off my glasses and put in my contacts. I'm trying to use the window for like better lighting instead of using the ring light because it would reflect in the glasses, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about me postpartum first right off the bat, and then we'll go into Calvin because I just want to get the me stuff out of the way and then we'll talk more about the baby. So first of all, this video is kind of late. It's like a week late that I'm filming it, and who knows how late it'll be by the time I get it up and edited. I'm gonna try to edit it. Mr. Cal is currently napping. I've got him on the monitor here and he just went down, so he could still wake up, but hopefully if he continues to nap and he naps a good long hour-and-a-half nap like he usually does, I'll be able to edit this video and put it up right now. So hopefully he will nap well and I can put this video up now and it won't be super duper late because he turned 4 months on the 27th of September and today's like the 5th of October that I'm filming this. Anyway, about me. I finally got to put my wedding ring back on September 7th, so holy cow. I mean, like 3.5 months, but probably like 3 months postpartum, I finally got to put my ring back on. So there, now I got Nami. I got my cat in the background making noise, causing a ruckus. I guess I'll let her out. Also, I feel like my weight loss has been a little more steady lately. For a while there, I can definitely tell a difference when I'm like trying to watch myself and behave myself versus when I actually like just do whatever I want, eat whatever I want. So I can definitely tell a difference on that. And when I actually try to, you know, eat well and not snack all the time, I'm losing a consistent 1 pound per week. Actually, last week I think I lost like 1.5. So that's going well so far. It was just like for a while there, like it was just not working very well. Like I just felt like very stagnant, but I also feel like I was like not eating as good as I could have been when my weight was being very stagnant. So I hope to continue to be at that like 1 pound per week kind of mark. That's where I need to be in order to lose weight by like Christmas, New Year kind of. That's where I want to be back to somewhat normal by that time, and if I lose 1 pound per week, I can get there. Also, I feel like I've had some more breast softening. Like I remember like probably right at the 2-month mark, right before I went back to work, I felt like my breasts definitely like had started feeling more soft more often, and I feel like they've gone through that kind of change again. I feel like they're softer more, and it takes a long time for them to actually be like rock hard and engorged. So I feel like breast softening is continuing to happen, I guess, if that makes any sense. Alright, so that's it for me. That's all the stuff that I have written down. For Calvin, let's start off with holy cow, he nurses forever as soon as I get home from work. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I go and get him from his grandma's, and on Thursdays and Fridays, my husband goes and gets him from my mom's, his other grandma's. And on those days that Justin gets him, he comes, they don't get home until like 6 o'clock in the evening, whereas when I get him, it's right at 5 usually. So when he comes home with Justin at that 6 o'clock mark, he like nurses for literally 45 minutes every night. And he's usually, you know, he only really nurses for maybe 15 minutes and then he kind of like sleep nurses, you know, so he's just kind of sucking for comfort. But he will suck for 45 minutes every time I get home. I mean, it's like, it's an unconditional, will happen every day kind of thing for him. And I know that nursing is more than just for milk. It's also, you know, the fact that he hasn't seen me all day and whatnot, and just for comfort and stuff like that. So sometimes it's a pain because I get home and it's like I cannot do anything for another 45 minutes because Mr. Cal is going to want to nurse. And so for some, you know, sometimes I'm like, this is a pain in the butt, but other times I'm like, I know that he just like, it's almost like he misses me. It makes me feel like he had missed me all day and he's like excited to be with me and he like really close with me, so it makes me happy too, but sometimes it can be like really stressful trying to do other things too. So he has definitely discovered his hands lately. He is slobbery, like so slobbery, like the most slobberiest thing ever now that he's discovered his hands. And sometimes he'll suck on his thumb, but sometimes he just has like his whole freaking hand in there. So he's definitely discovered these guys, and he's like chawing. Why do I always combine words? Gnawing and chowing down on his hands all the time. With that being said, we took away his binky like a week and a half ago. because we're trying to get him to sleep in his own crib, in his own room, because he's definitely outgrown the bassinet that we have for him, both weight-wise and length-wise. He just doesn't fit well in the bassinet. Anytime he shifts or moves or does anything, you can like, I feel like the whole thing's just gonna fall apart. So I don't want him to be in there anymore. And for several days now, he's been in his room, in his bed, for most of the night at least. We always try to go for his first half, like from 7 or 8 o'clock until like 1 to 3 in the morning. That's his first stretch of sleep, and he'll always be in his crib from then, for that portion of the night. Sometimes in the early morning hours after that first feeding at like 1 to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes I'll bring him to bed and just have him sleep in bed with us, because he just can be kind of fussy and just not quite settled. But last night he actually did really well, and he went right back to bed when I put him back in at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So we were trying to transition him into his bed, but because of his binky, like every time the binky would fall out, he would wake, and so we'd have to go back in there to replace the binky and pat him a little bit and get him to go back to bed. He wasn't waking up because he was hungry, he was just waking up because his binky was out of his mouth and he's not big enough to find it and put it back, right? So we decided, why don't we just take away the binky and then see how it goes, take away the binky, and then hopefully he'll sleep better in his own room. It'll make the transition to his own room a little bit easier. So that's been working out so far. We really didn't intend to take away the binky so early. I thought for sure that he would have it well past a year at least, but that's just kind of how it worked out, and it actually wasn't that bad. I want to say it was probably about 4 days that were kind of sucky without the binky, but it really wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. So before that, when he was still in the bassinet, I moved him over to Justin's side of the bed, because when he wakes up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when he wants to eat, Justin always goes and changes him anyway. So to have him on Justin's side of the bed when he wakes, Justin just picks him up and takes him and changes him and then brings him back to me to nurse. So that's actually like one of the best decisions. I wish we would have done that from the very beginning, because Cal would always keep me up, because I'd be right next to his bassinet, and any little movement or sound or anything that he did totally woke me up all throughout the night, and I was always waking up for just a split second all throughout the night because I could hear him, because it was right there. Since moving him over to Justin's side of the bed, I sleep so much better because I don't hear every little single thing that he does. So I think maybe next baby is going to start off on Justin's side of the bed. So he's trying to reach for things. He reaches for some things if they're like really close. Like if you have him like up in your face, he'll like grab your glasses or your nose or your lip or whatever. He reaches for those kind of things that are really close. He doesn't really try to venture out and like reach for far away things yet, but he is trying to sit up. Like anytime you lean him back on anything, like if you have him like sitting on the couch next to you, or if you have him laying on you or whatever, he's always trying to sit up, and he tries so hard, but he doesn't have enough balance or coordination to do it yet. So he tries really hard, and if he does manage to sit up, he always ends up like toppling over. So you gotta really pay attention to him. You can't just like prop him up on things and leave him, because he's gonna try and sit up and then fall all over the place. That baby is awake. He's wide awake, and he hasn't slept in like 3.5 hours. So somebody just hates naps today, so he's going to join us. He is so tired. He really needs to go to bed, but he refuses to do it. All right, let's talk about you, Mr. Cow. He weighed, what did you weigh? 17 pounds? Is that what you weighed? 17 pounds and 1 ounce at the doctor's appointment last week. He was 26¼ inches tall. And yeah, I think he was the 81st percentile for his weight and the 90th for his length, for his height, and 55 for his head. So he's got a normal size head and a giant body, I think. That's kind of what it sounds like anyway. We've been using the Bumbo lately. That's like the best thing ever. Like just put him in the little Bumbo and you can like do things with him chilling and hanging out by himself. So that's been a big step, because I feel like I hadn't tried it in a while. Like I don't know when exactly he would have been big enough to hold himself up and stay steady in the Bumbo, but month 4 that's been such an awesome tool. Like even before recently, when we started using the Bumbo, before that, it was just a pain to even eat dinner. Like I would have to eat dinner and then Justin would have to eat dinner. We like never got to eat together, but now that he can sit in the Bumbo, we get to all eat well, he doesn't get to eat, he gets to watch us eat, but we all get to have dinner together. So another thing, along with his giant size, is that he's almost getting too heavy for me in the carrier. I have an Infantino carrier. I think it's discontinued now, actually, but it's just a little gray thing. If you watch my vlogs, you may have seen it, or if you follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. But he's almost too heavy for it now, because it just makes my shoulders and my back hurt and whatnot. I was using him, or I was around the house with him in the Moby, and that definitely feels a little better than the Infantino carrier, so I might be switching over to the Moby for like walks and stuff like that. So we have been using the stroller more often. I actually last weekend we went to the pumpkin patch, and I used the peanut shell just kind of sling, and he just kind of like sat in it like sideways like so, and so his butt was held by the sling, and I just held one arm because he's not big enough to like hold on to me and not flop over, so I just used one arm the whole time we were at the pumpkin patch, and that worked out pretty well. It did kind of strain on my opposite shoulder where the sling goes though, so I don't know if we're going to be using that for such extended periods of time in the future. This baby's got hiccups. Hiccup. And lastly, one thing that I just wrote down and I wanted to mention is just me personally and my confidence with babies is like so weird. My sister got married this past month in the middle of September, and a cousin of mine has a baby who's like a month and a half or 2 months older than Mr. Cal, and I just immediately went and snatched him up, and I was hugging him and playing with him and looking at him and taking him around, and I never would have done that before I had Calvin. Like I mean, not like I didn't like babies, but just I was like scared of babies, you know, like baby could start crying, baby could do all kinds of scary things, right? Like I can't control what baby's gonna do, and yet after having Cal, I definitely feel more confident with other people's babies. Just like I never would have just like snatched up a baby and hung out with it before I had Calvin like I did a couple weekends ago at my sister's wedding. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, just a little bit more casual than usual. If you want, I put up a vlog last week. I think maybe I put it up Sunday or something. I can't remember. I put up a vlog from last Wednesday. If you guys are interested in watching that, it was just on Wednesdays me and Cal get to be home alone together, so it was just kind of our day. If you guys are interested in seeing that, I wish that I could vlog more often, but it's not like our life is really that exciting day to day when me and Justin both work full time. But anyway, if you're interested in seeing that, there's plenty of little Calvin footage on there. I will leave a link down below to that video. It was just the last one that I uploaded before this one here. I hope you guys liked the video, and give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Let me know what other kind of mommy stuff you want to see down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.